Oh, hi! Didn't see you there. Today, we're going to be talking about how skull shape is a very useful factor in letting us figure out an animal's lifestyle. So, to start with, we've got two animals that are actually quite closely related to each other, at least more so than a lot of the other animals that we have on the table here. We've got Rufus, I don't know the species.
Lynx Rufus.
Lynx Rufus. Okay, Lynx Rufus. The modern day bobcat. Now this has got quite large canines and some mean looking carnassials back there. Those are the back teeth in a cat's mouth. The carnassials. We'll point those out again in a second on the other skull here. Now this is a sort of a generalist, so it's not as specialized. It does have quite large canines, especially for the size of the skull. Quite a rounded skull as well. This would be built up with plenty of fur and soft tissue in the actual animal. Then, the skull that I'm going to handle this one a bit less because it's not the greatest of condition. We have Smilodon fatalis. Now, obviously the first thing a lot of people are going to notice about this is the massive proportionate increase in the canines. Why these animals are called saber-toothed tigers, because they've got sabers for teeth. And you can see, just like on the bobcat, they have these massive slicing carnassials. Now, I'll actually go back to the bobcat skull for this because I feel more comfortable moving it around. You ever notice cats, when they eat something, they get it back into their mouth and start... That's how cats usually eat their food. Yeah, I make Three Stooges noises when you do cat. That's the sound that cats make. They make... Now, these carnassials act a bit like scissors that slice as the animal opens and closes its mouth. So like meat shears for their prey. So they get meat into tiny chunks so that they can swallow it. Now, another small carnivore from the same area, we'll put this big boy back. This is a modern raccoon. Now, this skull isn't old and dirty, it's just stained this way. Now, it's got the prominent, you can see a similar canine structure, and the foreteeth are built similarly to the bobcat. But the teeth that resemble the carnassials are in the front here, and then they have molars behind it. That's because caniforms and raccoons, much more so than a lot of others, are omnivores. They take plenty advantage of plant and meat material, whatever makes itself available. Now, bobcats are going to eat plant material as well. There's no such thing as 100% carnivore, and there's no such thing as 100% herbivore either. Though these ones are they're throwing themselves, it's sort of odd to say, but they're throwing themselves into the niche of generalism. Now, there are other differences. The raccoon skull is much more narrow than the bobcat skull. The bobcat skull has larger orbits. That's these areas where the eye sits. So we can assume from that not only is the raccoon dealing with areas where he's going to have to refit his snout in places, like prying open a log and trying to eat rotting plant material and insects inside of it. This also tells us that the bobcat is going to be doing a lot of its hunting at night. Another cool feature is skulls have ear bones on them. Now, I'll point these out in another skull a bit later on. These little round bits at the bottom here, there's the hole just there that you can see. These are the ears of these animals. So the skulls can even tell us about an animal's hearing and sense of smell. This one might be a bit difficult to point out on these two, so we'll pull out our next skull. This is a cashmere goat. Now, if we can try to get a good look with the camera up in his nose, those are nasal turbinates. Those are structures for soft tissue to mount on in the nose. The more nasal turbinates, the more soft tissue there is, the more surface area for smells to be picked up from. It's just like how a small solar panel won't generate as much power as a large solar panel because there's less surface area to get sunlight from. A nose with few nasal turbinates will have a harder time determining smells, and they'll need a stronger scent to be able to actually smell something, whereas an animal with a lot of nasal turbinates is going to have an easier time smelling something. These guys are just very difficult to see on, but if our trusty camera boy can get in there, you can see the bobcat is absolutely brimming with turbinates. This guy's going to have a greatly advanced sense of smell over the goat here. An interesting thing that we can point out is that sometimes the eye hole of an animal isn't fully enclosed. This is a similar size to the Smilodon, so we'll move him back out. You can see whereas on this goat the eye hole is fully enclosed, there's no backing to the eye hole on this Smilodon. And there's a little gap on the backing of the eye hole to the bobcat, and weirdly, more similar to the Smilodon than the bobcat, the raccoon has, again, just about as much of a gap to the back, or just as much of a bridge to the back of the eye hole as the Smilodon does. So, and this has led to some early peoples finding animal skulls and not being able to figure out where to put the eye. Because people, our eye sockets are fully enclosed. Goats that we raise and slaughter for food, their eye sockets are fully enclosed. But this weird giant skull doesn't have two holes on either side. But it's got one hole right in the middle, and this is describing a possible, if not likely, story of early people discovering mammoths and saying, oh, well, this darn thing has a giant hole right in the middle, and we can't find matching holes on either side of the head. Maybe that's the eye, and this thing had one giant eye, and they reconstructed it as an upright being, more built like a man than an elephant. Moving on back to more of Moyst Gary's bread and butter, we've got some dinosaurs. Now this is just sort of more of a work of art than it is really an informative piece. But you can see that these teeth are at least shaped very much like meat-eating dinosaur teeth. These are slashers and cutters, not dissimilar in use to the carnassials that we talked about in the cats earlier. Dinosaurs do have orbits that are fully enclosed. And a weird thing, compared to the other skulls we've been looking at, these are quite solid. There's not a lot of stuff that, not a lot of extra bits, not a lot. Sorry about that, bit of technical. Did you hit the button?
Yes.
Why do you make that weird face? Now you threw
Because
off this cake.
I said 1, 2, 3, and then at 3, I pressed the record.
You guys need to trust each other.
I did
Shut up.
what you asked.
Anyway, you might notice that this dinosaur skull has a lot of extra holes on it, whereas this raccoon skull really doesn't. It's quite solid by comparison. Or, you might notice a small change in set. This Neosuchian skull belonging to Amphicatylus gilmori. Very, 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 very solid compared to the dinosaur skull. That's because dinosaurs got quite big. And not just that they got big, crocodiles got big, mammals have gotten big, but dinosaurs, like birds, have a lot of importance on their necks. A lot of the things that we do with parts inside of our heads or muscles attached to our eyes, birds have to do with their necks. And it's possible dinosaurs did that as well, but even if it's not how dinosaurs work, they definitely had an importance on necks that mammals don't seem to, not to the same extent at least. Whereas you can see crocodiles on my handy crockboard reference material, they have quite stumpy fat necks, at least compared to something like an Allosaurus or a Tyrannosaurus neck. So dinosaurs had to get creative in how to save space. Long-necked dinosaurs are an extreme example of this. I don't have a skull nearby, mainly because most of the skulls that are at the institution that I work at are quite big, belonging to animals such as Giraffatight and Camarasaur, and I didn't think about bringing one here when I got this crocodile skull.
Mm-hmm.
Probably should have done that.
Another cut?
We're not going to have another cut.
Okay.
I don't care enough. I do care, but we'll
No.
we'll do another episode farther down the line.
Oh.
Now, not only did dinosaurs get these super space-saving skulls, pterosaurs did also. Pterosaurs have quite long necks, just like dinosaurs. They use their necks quite a bit, just like dinosaurs. But they were also flyers. So let's take the bottom jaw off of that. You can see this is Harpactinathus, the largest of the Scaphinathine pterosaurs. You can see just how lightly built this animal's skull is. There's hardly any structure to it, just like the frame of early airplanes, being made of super light material and then sparing amounts of it. Now, going back to, we sort of have mentioned bits of skulls that influence an animal's life. Well, a big part that can tell us about an animal's life is the teeth. Smilodons have these monstrous sabers. So they were probably using those to slash through things. We find other Smilodon skulls and parts of animals that they prey that show those sabers making gnarly gash wounds in animals. Meat-eating dinosaurs. This is clearly modeled after tyrannosaurs, but the teeth aren't quite round enough to really be tyrannosaur teeth. Meat-eating dinosaurs like the Allosaurus that we have a large jaw of here. If we can get sort of a head-on view of that, you can see these teeth are very thin compared to the overall size of the jaw. That's because, just like the carnassials and the cat, these guys want to slice and cut meat. Tyrannosaurs, on the other hand, have big, round teeth, about the size of railroad spikes. That's because tyrannosaurs don't care so much about grabbing and cutting. They care about grabbing and crushing bone. Tyrannosaurus rex having an estimated bite force of 4 tons. Well able to smash remains of hadrosaurs and other duck-billed dinosaurs, or even ceratopsians. Crocodiles like this Amphictylus. If I can be granted a split second to dig up a specimen from my big drawer of bones. There's something here in my big drawer of bones. I just gotta find the darn thing. Here we go. This is a tooth from Amphictylus. Now, it doesn't have the thinness or the overall shape of the allosaur teeth that we looked at earlier, but it is round, not dissimilar to the Tyrannosaurus teeth. Though, crocodiles, while they do have strong bite forces, doesn't seem like crushing is as important to the Tyrannosaurs, or to crocodiles as it is to the Tyrannosaurs. The main reason they have these round teeth is because an edged tooth like the Allosaurus, or even, we can use a little bobcat here because it's easier. These teeth are sharp, wickedly so. If they've grabbed an animal, they're biting down, that animal's struggling, they just might cut the soft tissue that they're holding them by and get out. It's like someone grabs your shirt, you struggle, your shirt tears, you get away. Except with an animal's flesh. So, way grosser and bloodier and... Anyway, crocodiles don't want to do that. They're all about grabbing and wrestling animals down. Or hunting fish, which, if you've ever gone fishing, fish really don't like to be grabbed. And they fight back very vigorously when they are grabbed. Crocodiles don't want their meals to get away. Most animals don't want their meals to get away, so they've evolved teeth that stop this from happening. Another feature that we can see on this Amphictylus skull here, very broad jaws. The bottom jaw is very broad. That shows that there would be a lot of power in the muscles behind this. I mentioned that Tyrannosaurus rex is a 4-ton bite force. That's because when we look at the skulls of Tyrannosaurs, we can see, okay, that's where muscles are attaching. And those attachments are so big. The bigger the muscle, the bigger the attachment. Because if a muscle gets too big for its attachment point, it'll tear itself right off the bone that it's anchored to. So we can figure out at least what a minimum strength for a lot, or what the maximum strength for a lot of these muscle attachments is, which gives us a pretty good bet, because an animal isn't going to over-fortify something it doesn't need to. Evolution is quite efficient in a lot of ways. Now, sort of as a final feature that we'll be talking about is dinosaurs with sharp teeth. Now, we might think... people at first might think that, oh, the Tyrannosaurus rex is the king of the dinosaurs. He would have the sharpest teeth. Well, as we talked about earlier, no, he's got crushers for teeth. Maybe then Allosaurs or raptors, these quick, fast dinosaurs, they had the sharpest teeth. No, they'd be incorrect again. They do have mighty sharp teeth, but the sharpest teeth of the dinosaur family probably goes to the duck-billed dinosaurs, the hadrosaurs. We've got here, ooh, let's not knock over my bottle. We have here the jaw of Parasaurolophus. Now you can see all of these teeth. And they'd have monstrous jaw muscles attached to it. You've got this lever and all this area down here that jaw muscles are likely going to be anchoring from and then going up onto the rest of the skull from. So tons of power in chewing with these. And you figure the top jaw is going to have a dental battery that mimics this. So it gets pushed into that. So you've got double this for the top jaw, and then quadruple this for the top jaw, and then the other bottom jaw. So many teeth. Large hadrosaurs like Edmontosaurus or Shintangosaurus from Asia. Edmontosaurus isn't from Asia. Edmontosaurus is from the Hell's Creek Formation in the northern United States. Shintangosaurus is from Asia. Or Olorotitan from Russia. These giant hadrosaurs. They could have up to 10,000 teeth in their mouth at any given time. And with all of those teeny tiny teeth, they could chew through just about whatever they wanted. It's similar to the difference in a steak knife. A steak knife would be like an Allosaurus or a raptor tooth. Their teeth are like chainsaws. Yeah, chainsaw is delicate as a steak knife, but it's also used to cut wood instead of steak. It's used to cut dense, brushy material. Even hedge trimmers, the little electric hedge trimmers, they have meaner teeth than a steak knife does, and they've got more power behind it than a steak knife would. Well, so it's our first ending credit scene in a couple of months. Give us a joke.
Does anti-humor count?
Sure.
What's green and has wheels?
What's green and has wheels?
Grass. I lied about the wheels.
That's not very nice.
I know.
Anyway, as I mentioned, it's been quite a while since Moyst... Did I just mention it?
Yes, you did.
It's been quite a while since Moyst Gary has posted anything, and I hope that this will be a triumphant return. I would say that I put a lot of effort into this video. I was winging it mostly like I do every single video. Scripts are for nerds who don't know how to improvise. Go to theater class, kids. Stay in school, but only theater school. Don't do drugs. Remember to like the video or dislike the video if you're a nerd, or if you're Trey the Explainer. I don't want Trey the Explainer to like my content. Actually, no, Trey's fine. He stopped making dinosaur stuff. He moved into anthropology. He can annoy the anthropologists. I don't care anymore. I just want a real laid back end to this video.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we don't... It's too formal on Moyst Gary,
Yeah.
So professional. Our content is just the highest caliber.
Especially like, Gooby the Fish.
100 views. Gooby the Dead Fish. Go watch it again. Let's get it to 200. Is that a bit... I don't know. Like the video, dislike the video. If you liked it, like it. If you disliked it, dislike it. Subscribe. That's a thing you can do on YouTube. YouTube's the worst company ever. So subscribing doesn't do what it used to do. So hit the bell if you actually want notifications. Like, subscribe, drop a bell.
How long is this going to go on for?
I don't know. What are other plugs? Hit me up on Twitter. Do I have that linked to my YouTube page?
No, I don't believe so.
Then don't hit me up on Twitter. If you want to hunt me down on Twitter, do it. Dr. Ironically Unfunny. I think that's it. Or at Ironically Unfun. This stuff's really good. Go buy some Private Selection Irish cream soda if they carry it at a local store. They're not gonna sue us for that, are they?
I mean...
Are we gonna get a cease and desist order?
I mean, we were, almost advertising it in a good way.
Yeah, but it's also Moyst Gary.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd want my brand associated with me. That intro thing was a joke, by the way. I'm not a weeaboo.
Uh-huh.
I'm not a filthy weeaboo.
Mm-hmm.
I karate chop down trees with my bare. I don't karate chop. That's weeaboo. I punch trees down with my bare. That's Minecraft reference. Darn. Just insert something manly. Just think of something manly and imagine that I said that I do that.
M60 machine gun versus a bunch of trees.
Yeah, that's how I cut down trees.
Yeah. Please end this. I want to go home.
You don't get to leave.
Okay.
Support your local museums, you know? That's just a cool thing to do. Gosh dang it, this intro's getting worse. People have already clicked off the video. I
Yeah.
guarantee none of you are still watching. I got like maybe 2 people still watching this video.
I mean, that's just about as many views we generally get anyways.
Shut up, I get like 15. Thank you very much. Moyst Gary is, I was about to say the fastest growing channel, ironically, but then I was like, I don't even know if that's worth the irony. I'm just a channel.
Yeah.
But, freaking, I seen channels that, like, post for months without even having 100 subscribers and they make quality content. So, I was like, man, I had to do that again. Oh, dude! I know what we should do at the end of the video.
This.
Let's draw an end card.
You realize I'm still.
Filming?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Okay. Just making sure.
So it's... Oh, crap. I don't want to write color in everything except subscribe. So we're just going to write subscribe in red.
Mm-hmm.
Subscribe for more. I had extra space after I wrote subscribe, so I did 4 more at the end. But it's in a red box.
Yeah.
And then a bell. We're gonna draw a little bell.
Uh-huh.
I didn't give myself enough space.
Can you draw Harambe too?
Oh, that's not a good bell.
That really isn't.
We're gonna...
Looks like the top to an acorn.
It's a very small body to the acorn. It's got a small little body and then a big top.
Mm-hmm.
And the bell, doesn't it have lines around it for the YouTube thing?
Yeah, because it has to make noise.
Because it's a ringing bell.
Right.
So subscribe for more. Drop a bell. Like the video. Likes are blue, but do I have a blue marker? I don't think I have a blue marker, so we're gonna do it in light green.
Mm-hmm.
A lime like. Lime like. It's like lime light, but a like. It's a thumbs up. So we're gonna... Oh no.
What?
How do hands...
How do hands... What is that?
It's a hand giving a thumbs up. It's an iguanodon. Look, that's an iguanodon thumb spike. Iguanodons are an
What
ornithischian
happened to his
dinosaur that had a
pinky?
thumb.
His pinky,
He
Ron!
got into a forest fire accident.
And that...
A burning tree fell on his pinky.
Okay. I was gonna ask if it was a tumor or a break in the bone.
So yeah, can you make this fill the screen, Ryan?
Yeah.
Subscribe for more. This is a dumpster fire. This
Yeah!
I
This
thought-
is what I've been saying since you start going, oh yeah, like, subscribe. Yeah, no, I've
Shut
been...
up. This video was so good for the first part of it.
Yeah.
Like, I feel it was actually pretty good for the first part of it. And then... It just turned into a dumpster fire.
That's all it ever is.
This is my editing suite. Actually, no, that's a lie. I don't edit my videos.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the cool mountains.
Yeah. Was there some cool
Oh,
moments?
I know that sound. No, we're gonna close that again.
Yeah, you forgot what we
I forgot what I had
entered in.
in for the intro gag. That was only a gag.
Yeah, definitely only a
Please
gag.
stop filming.
Thank you.
Stop, please.
I am relieved.